Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Dr. Bonnie Delivers, where I spend time sharing thought-provoking ideas that come to me during the course of the week, or I coach someone live on an issue of their choice, or I tap information from over 30 years, almost 30 years as a clinical psychologist and now as a holistic coach. Today's episode is entitled Stop Playing Your Life Game Not to Lose, Start Playing to Win, and it's not about competition. So if that sounds interesting or intriguing to you, please feel free to share this with someone that you think would be interested and could benefit. So let me introduce myself. Hi Marlo. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's Kick-Ass Coach, the owner of Empowerment Coaching, and a clinical psychologist and holistic coach who loves spending time working with people who want to up their game, to play a bigger game in their life. So I help frazzled business owners and entrepreneurs who are struggling with overwhelm to overcome that overwhelm so that they can again enjoy their life and their business. Because really the reason to own a business is so that it gives you more of what you're looking for in life. Also, stick with me till the end when I'll be sharing how, if you are interested in being one of my coachees on this program, I will share some information with how you can sign up to do so. So, what do I mean by playing not to lose? If you think about most of our actions being driven by one of two things, either fear or love, playing not to lose is definitely a fear-based way to go about it. So let me just share a little story I heard today from the amazing Darren Hardy, who, which I think this story really illustrates the playing not to lose versus playing to win philosophy. So Darren was sharing that he had a conversation with an Olympic track athlete, and this man was sharing with Darren that in his earlier years of running, he had a habit of running his race and leading the vast majority of the race, and in the last few strides before getting to the tape, he would drop to second place. Repeatedly, consistently, frustratingly. But he couldn't figure out what was happening. So there was an Olympic coach who had been kind of watching this kid because he was really good, and after watching him repeat the same pattern several races, he went up to the kid and he said, "Would you like to know why you're dropping to second place?" And the kid said, "Yes, definitely." The coach said, "What you are doing is you're running your race and you're getting to the point where you see the tape in front of you, and at that same point in every race, you stop, you look over your shoulder to see who's catching up. And in doing so, he's then running his race from the don't lose rather than from the win." So the coach said to him, "What I want you to do is keep looking at that tape. Your only mission is to break through that tape. Doesn't matter who's around you, doesn't matter who's catching up. Your only mission is to break through that tape. That's all you focus on." In making that change, this young man went on to become an Olympic athlete. It was all about shifting from who's catching up to me to how do I get this job done. So what is then playing to win? In my mind, it's completing the task, completing the journey. Whatever it is that you're setting out to do, you accomplish it. And win doesn't have to be a competitive thing. It can be a collaborative thing. There seems to be an increasing backlash about all the competitive stuff that we as Americans have typically engaged in. There's certainly a place for competition, but there's also a place for collaboration. So rather than competing with yourself or competing with others to accomplish something, look at the win as getting that task done. So as I was thinking about what did I want to talk about today, I ran through some questions in my mind. I was asking myself, what's going to move the people who are listening, and what would touch them? What are the words they need to hear? What kind of support can I offer them? So I thought about my typical listener, and many of my typical listeners are doers. They do, they get things done, they're striving to be successful. Unfortunately, oftentimes they're comparing themselves to others. And did you ever notice how when we do that comparison to others, we're always comparing our weaknesses to their strengths? Great way to set ourselves up to feel like crap, right? So, again, thinking about my ideal listeners, striving, trying to create a better life for ourselves. But there's a fatal flaw in the process. That fatal flaw is believing that something outside of us has to change in order for us to feel happier and more satisfied. The truth is, we have to change our inner landscape first. Then the external world begins to shift. So, one of my mentors, Shelley Ryuta, talks about life as being the outpicturing of our inner world. If our inner world is based on beliefs like the world is a dangerous place, I can't trust people, nothing goes the way I want, our outer world is going to reflect that big time. If our inner world is the world's a safe place, I have all the resources I need to accomplish what I want to accomplish, there is abundance available, that's what your outpicturing is going to be. So if you want to know what's not in place within yourself, look at your world. Look at where things aren't working for you, and that will show you where something on the inside needs to be shifted. So let me give you an example of that, and I'll use one example from my own life. In recent months, I've been feeling kind of constrained by the motel that I bought to rehab into a retreat center. I wasn't feeling as able to go places as I wanted to go or do things that I wanted to do. And ironically, initially I bought the motel to create more freedom for myself. That all of my coaching clients, I would be working with them from this place. I wouldn't have to travel to an office. That this place pays for itself, so it's kind of like having a free living space. And so what needed to change there, the secret was I needed to get back to my sense of inner freedom. That the freedom, that feeling is created within. Then it begins to be reflected in my outer world, including the motel world. So I did go on vacation recently and had very able hands handling the desk while I was gone. But everything in the external world could then begin to reflect that freedom that I was now creating on an internal basis. And with this stuff, there's no magic wand to wave. We have to do our work. But one of the things about that work is oftentimes it's repetitive. So if I had $1 for every time someone said to me, I can't believe I'm back here again, I'd be richer. But let me share an analogy with you that I think is going to be really helpful. This comes from my buddy Kayleen. I was talking to her today also, and the analogy is about compost. So if you go into your refrigerator and there's disgusting, unidentifiable things in there, and you decide, okay, these need to go to the compost pile. Let's say there's some potatoes that are getting funky, and there's some melon that's rotting, and whatever, and you throw all of that stuff in the compost pile. And periodically you go out and you stir the compost pile to get some air in it and get some water in it and get it doing what it does to turn into rich, fertile earth to grow beautiful things. Same thing happens with our garbage. So the life stories that we have, the things that we feel like we're carrying with us the burdens of what's happened to us, life lessons we learned that were hurtful, etc. We need to take all of that stuff, put it in the compost pile. Periodically, we revisit that compost pile and we're working with it again. So I've put my anger in the compost pile, and now I go out there and it's stirred up again. And then go back and I go, oh yeah, there's that melon. It's still looking disgusting. It's still smelling funky. There it is again. But over time, what happens? We revisit. Over time, that again becomes fertile growth, fertile land for us to plant our dreams, our hopes, etc. Out of that negative stuff comes the seeds of new growth. Okay? So let me give you another way to look at that. I watched a movie with some friends yesterday, and the title of it was from 2006. The title of the movie was Fat Girls, P-H-A-T. And the gist behind the whole movie, the protagonist was played by Monique, and she had been badgered and abused her whole life for being overweight and seeing herself as very unattractive, not deserving, etc., etc. She couldn't see her inner beauty when other people were very able to see her inner beauty and were very attracted to her inner beauty. And when they were, she didn't believe them because she wasn't feeling it internally. Over the course of the movie, she begins to figure out how to love herself, and then she could begin to see what other people had been seeing all the way along. So oftentimes we need help with this because it's not easy, especially when the lessons came when we were children. You know, in the movie it's depicted that she was picked on all the way through school by the skinny pretty girls because she was heavy. And when those things happen in childhood, oftentimes we just soak them up. We're kind of a sponge. We don't have a ton of discernment on the front end to be able to say, they're full of crap, I'm beautiful. Really difficult for most of us as kids to do that. So we need help with this stuff. We need help. We've got our crap right here. We can't see it for nothing. We need others to help us back it up so we can really see how other people see us, who we really are. There's a reflection there. The way I look at it is human beings are herd animals. We depend on our pack to support us, to validate us, to challenge us to see what we haven't been seeing, to hold space for us to grow. And the deeper the work you want to do, the fewer people in your life there will be who can hold that big a space for you to do the kind of growing you want to do. So that's something I feel like I do really well with the people I work with. I can hold big space for what you're wanting to accomplish in your life. So if you'd like to explore working with me one-on-one, just contact me and we'll set up a 15-minute free phone call where we can talk about what it is you want to accomplish, and I can tell you how I think I can be of assistance to you. There's no pressure to participate. If you say nope or not right now or whatever, absolutely cool. No big deal in my book. But to sum up today's lesson, I think there's a couple of things here. To create great happiness and satisfaction in your life, you need to do a couple of things. One is you need to play your life to win. Yeah, that's going to involve some face plants and some, oh crap, I screwed up, whatever. But play full out. Play to win. Don't play not to lose, because you get a whole different result. Playing to win means you're operating out of faith and trust and love and belief in yourself that you can do it. Playing not to lose is a very contracting, fear-based, ooh, I gotta do this because I can't afford to have that happen kind of approach. And that doesn't make for a very happy or satisfying life. And the other piece that I think is important to reiterate is you need to change your inner landscape. Your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings to reflect what you want in your outer world. then the outer world begins to shift to meet that inner expectation. Okay? Again, as soon as we're done today, I'll post this video, and feel free to share it with anybody that you think could benefit from doing this mindset shift with their landscape. And I'd love to have your comments on what I was talking about. Share your own experiences, whatever. I'd love to get some feedback on this whole concept of playing to win, not playing not to lose. I'd also love to do more live videos with some of you guys. We did a couple, and I thought they turned out pretty good, other than my technological issues. But I'd love to work some more one-on-one with some people on this live, on an event or situation or life opportunity that you want to work through. You don't have to pick your biggest, hairiest, ugliest deal to have other people watch, but pick something little. It could be, well, I pick my fingernails and I want to stop doing that. Something little, that's fine. But I'd love the opportunity to work live with some more of you. So if you're interested in doing that, just send me a private message here on my Facebook page, or you can send me an email at bonnie@empowermentandpurpose, all little letters all together.com. What I see that doing for you is it's a way for you to make some headway on that issue. It's a way for you to test drive working with me so you can get a sense of what that's like. And it's a way for people to see how this holistic work can quickly reroute you on your life path. So again, you can either private message me on this page, or you can send me an email at bonnie@empowermentandpurpose.com. Also, if you have any questions about participating, that was hard to say, please post them here, because if you have that question, probably other people do too. And so I'm more than happy to answer questions about what it would be like to participate as a coachee on this program. So that's it for this week's Dr. Bonnie Delivers, and I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's Kick-Ass Coach and Psychologist. Remember, we are all capable of far more than we think we are, and go forth and play to win. Have a great week.